Bitcoin is way too volatile. You can never work with an asset that goes up and down like this. Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin for Skeptics. My name is Nikolai and today I want to deal with this objection. Because I hear it a lot, especially in the last couple of weeks where again, price is going crazy up and down. If you look short term, and there already we have kind of a solution to this objection. So the objection pretty much goes, well, nothing can really work for a big part of humanity if it is that unstable. Let's dig deeper. First of all, is Bitcoin really that unstable? Well, if we zoom out a little and we look at the development of price in the last 10 years, we see a very, very clear structure of the price. It goes up. So, first of all, I would really push back on the assumption that Bitcoin is volatile because it really depends on the time frame you look at it. If you look at a large bird's eye view at the Bitcoin price, you see a clear direction the price goes up. If you zoom in, all right, that's very true that it goes up thousands of dollars sometimes a day, which is pretty crazy if you compare it to something like the S&P 500 or other assets. But let's think about how long does something like the S&P 500 or national currency exchange markets, how long do they exist? Well, decades, sometimes hundreds of years. So of course, Bitcoin is only 10 years old. It's like a little tiny baby taking its first steps, trying to understand what it is, and people trying to understand what it is. So therefore, in the beginning of the development of such a new sound money, it is absolutely normal that it is volatile. And if you think about the time frame, you can already be amazed actually how little volatility there is for something that is just 10 years old, if you turn it around. But for those who are really scared about that kind of volatility, I am very sure that the more Bitcoin finds adoption and the more people understand what Bitcoin is really about, a inflation resistant store of value, the more people will get into it, the price will stabilize. And that is something that we will probably see pretty soon. But until then, let's not reject Bitcoin because of volatility. Let's think about how old is this thing, and then let's wait a little because this will eventually stabilize as everything else did. If you think about gold, the first couple of decades, maybe, I don't know, thousands of years ago, I'm sure the price was really like volatile because people tried to find out how much is this actually worth. But let's zoom out again and then you will see a very clear structure of the market and you can bet that it goes up by looking back the last 10 years. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you look at the stock to flow ratio that is coming up next year, we will be at around the same stock to flow ratio of gold, around 50, and gold has a market value of $7 trillion, and Bitcoin currently has only 200 billion. So if we think about this getting closer, we can predict prices above $50,000 a Bitcoin. And therefore, I think thinking about all the ups and downs, it is pretty certain that these ups and downs are actually moving in a general direction of upwards. All right, this is my take on volatility, and I really think it is a worthwhile objection for current situation. Of course, if you're not into trading, then definitely don't get into this trading such a volatile market. But if you're just into investing, you can look back and you will see certain prices were never hit again, although this thing is volatile. All right, I hope this helped. I wish you a very good day. Bye-bye.